As of patch 6.2, there are currently 4 world bosses spread around across Draenor that you can kill. These are called Rukhmar, Drov the Ruiner, Tarlna the Ageless, and Supreme Lord Kazzak. Killing the 4 bosses gives you the following achievements. The Legion will not conquer all from killing Kazzak, So Glossy Incandescent from defeating Rukhmar, and Goliaths of Goreground from killing Tarlna and Drov. Apart from the achievements, the bosses also drops a few different items, including epic gear, a mount, and Felblight. Note that you can only loot the bosses once a week on each character. Finding and killing these bosses by yourself is nearly impossible, and so you can use the in-game custom group binder to enter a raid for the bosses. Rukhmar spawns in Spires of Iraq and drops item level 665 gear, and maybe most importantly, the Solar Spirehawk mount. Most raid groups will stand outside the Skyreach summoning stone so that you can summon players to the location, and once the raid group is set up, the fight starts. Just like in Skyreach, the Blood Feather ability will spawn small phoenixes that are fixated on players. These you should run away from if they are fixated on you. When the Blood Feathers lands on the ground, they will explode into a blaze of glory, which deals a lot of damage to the players near the impact point. The Blaze of Glory also raises any piles of ash into phoenixes that chases down random players. Rukhmar will also sometimes fly into the air, releasing loose krills, which explodes when hitting the ground, dealing out a lot of damage to most of the raid group. If you're a healer, you should therefore prepare to heal out a bunch of players every time this happens. If you're a healer, you should also know that Rukhmar will call all nearby players to get the Solar Radiation debuff, which deals damage every 15 seconds. If you're a tank, you should always face the boss away from the raid group because of Solar Breath, which deals out damage to enemies in front of Rukhmar. 2 tanks are advised so that they can swap out when one tank gets the Pierced Armor debuff, which makes it so you take 50% increased damage from Rukhmar's Sharp Beak ability. Next up is Drov the Ruiner, who spawns north of the Grand Canyon in Goreground. His coordinates are 44.41. The tactics for this fight is a bit easier than Rukhmar's, but you still need to watch out for the following. Drov does colossal slams every once in a while, and as a player, you should therefore always make sure that you DPS him from behind. Healers need to be prepared to heal up players' damage from the slam. Drov also casts Call of the Earth, which causes nearby Goron to spawn and attack the raid. These edge should be killed off as soon as possible, but don't stand in front of them, since they use Acid Breath, which poisons you and deals a lot of damage over time. They also use Crushing Charge, where they charges forward, dealing damage and knocking players away. Drov will also sometimes use Giga Smash, which inflicts damage to all raid players, so players should be prepared to use defensive cooldowns if they are low health, and healers should consider putting up healing over time spells on essential raid players if the ability is used shortly after another damage dealing ability. Tarlna the Ageless is located near Bastion Rise in Goreground at coordinates 47.88. He also drops item level 650 gear and is in my opinion the boss with the most engaging tactics. Just like with Drov, melee DPS should stand behind Tarlna to avoid his colossal blow. Healers need to be ready for healing up players damaged by the ability. All players need to stay clear of players affected by Savage Vines. Tarlna basically wraps random players in vines that roots the player and deals out damage to the player and nearby allies within 8 yards. Tarlna will sometimes spawn in untamed Mandogera, which should be tanked and killed off. Watch out for the Noxia Spit, which is thrown at a random player and stays on the ground, inflicting damage to those who stands in it. The fun part is coming up, as Tarlna has the Genesis ability. He creates a field of Sproutlings and starts raising them. Once the field is created, players therefore have 12 seconds to stamp on all the Sproutlings before they are raised to giant lashers. These lashers cast Lasher Venom, which poisons random players. They should therefore be killed off quickly. Supreme Lord Kazzak will be at the Throne of Kil'jaeden in Tanaan Jungle at coordinates 48.23. He's the most hunted of the bosses, since he drops item level 705 Apex and Felblight once killed. Players should stand behind him at all times to avoid his Fell Breath, which deals out a ton of damage to players. A good idea is also to stay spread, as Kazzak sometimes casts Mark of Kazzak, which increases the player's healing and damage output by 100%, but while you deal more damage, players standing within 8 yards of you will take shadow damage equal to your damage or healing output. The effect won't kill the Mark player, but it can easily turn a raid group into a bunch of corpses if it isn't controlled. At 66 and 33% health, Kazzak will summon Twisted Reflections from players. These reflections will start to flow towards Kazzak and should be killed off as soon as possible, since the reflections that reach Kazzak will heal him up. Those were the basic tactics for the 4 bosses as of patch 6.2. Apart from Kazzak and the man from Rukhmar, the bosses doesn't make a lot of sense to me, since they are dropping low item level gear that you can grind from killing rares in Tarlna jungle. I would have liked the rewards from killing these bosses to be more meaningful, since I believe it would make more people want to kill them once a week. Anyhow, I can strongly suggest everyone to go for all 4 bosses at least once, since their mechanics are fun and because it's a nice break from farming dailies or whatever you're doing. Thank you for watching as always, and have a good one.